Hello, beautiful people. So let's decorate this cake together. This is the finished video after I was done with it. So let me take you guys through the process of actually decorating the cake from scratch. So these are the flavors of the cake. Don't mind those holes inside it. My cakes are so sweet that I tend to like pinch some part after I'm done baking it. So at this point, I was disinfecting my cake board with vinegar. That helps to clean the dust and also disinfect. I just learned about that recently. Normally I would just use the water and then paper roll to clean it, but I learned about vinegar, and since then I've been doing anything just to deliver quality service to my customers. So this is the buttercream that I'll be using to fill in the middle of the cake. I didn't use any cake filling here because the client didn't pay for any cake filling. It's just normal buttercream that I'll be using. The flavors I made are, as you can see from the video, there's chocolate, there's vanilla, there's strawberry, and there's red velvet marbled with chocolate. That's why there's some like dark patches inside the velvet. I had a chocolate inside it because I didn't want the chocolate to take too long to get baked. And the velvet I did was not much. I just poured the remaining batter of the chocolate inside the velvet. So this is me now putting the vanilla on top of the chocolate. I know some people will be like, why are you putting chocolate at the bottom of your cake? Because normally chocolates are soft cakes. I don't know, my own chocolate are actually soft, but they are dense. Like, I don't know. They are my vanilla is very light, extremely. Even from the way I'm carrying the strawberry, you can see that the vanilla is very, very light. So I cannot use a light cake as the base, especially for a cake that was ordered less than 24 hours to be delivered. If it were to be cake that they have ordered for like 3 or 4 days, I would have baked it. It would have adding up a bit before I start decorating. But this is a cake that I baked over the night, and I think the cake came out of the oven around 2 a.m. before I went to sleep, and then I woke up back and then start decorating. So my vanilla and my strawberry, they were very, very light, so I could not use them as the bottom. Say if it were to be my fruit cake, oh perfect, that one can withstand all test of time. So that is why I use my chocolate as the base at this particular point. So as usual, I was adding buttercream to the strawberry before I will bring in the last layer. Typically, this cake is meant to be 8 inches, 4 layers. But then I miscalculated my batter and then I did excess. Another thing I could have done to save myself from the strength of doing something this though, I could have cut out this vanilla that I added. The last layer I could have divided it into 2. But I was just like, there's no point, let me just do it. I love tall cakes a lot. I love working on tall cakes. And for fondant cakes, I feel for fondant cake, the higher the cake, the taller the cake, the more beautiful it comes out. So, and it's been a while I worked on a cake this tall. So I was like, let me just leave it. Let me not cut it. At this point, this was me trying to still, reduce the height of the cake. But still, I was not digging the knife through the way I should to make it shorter. The funny thing is that by the time I put my fondant on this cake, you see that the height of this cake has gone down a bit. That's the funny thing about fondant. Fondant has a way of like, I don't know, is it pressing the height of the cake a bit down? The cake that is looking this tall and all, once I put my fondant on it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm just trying to remove out the brown part so that just for removing sake, it's not like the cake got burnt. It didn't get burnt. It's just normal brown part once the cake is fully baked. So at this point, I made sure that the cake is leveled before I start trimming. At this junction, I needed to be sure of the height of the cake. And I realized that the cake was extreme. It was like 1 inches or 1.5 inches taller than the normal height. But then that aside, my client is my client and they deserve nothing but the best. So this is me trimming now. So this trim now will bring out the actual color of each cake, the cream color, the brown color, the red color, and the pink color. Just take a look at. We're not there yet. We're still starting. So these crumbs, don't worry. I have people that will eat it. My siblings are there. They are always waiting. Once I get like, what's up? Crumbs. Sometimes when I'm done working and I want to go and eat crumbs, they are done. I can't find anything. They have finished it. But then it's a joy to know that, okay, you're not wasting it. Someone is here eating it. And so for fondant cake, one of the bases of fondant cake is perfectly trimming your cake. You have to trim your cake perfectly because it is what you do perfectly that will determine how your end result will be. Just pick people the color of this cake. Just look at the way they are popping, especially the vanilla. Look at the cream color, look at the pink color from the strawberry, then the velvet that has chocolate marble in it. Like, everything is just going in sync. And if you've not tasted our cake before, I don't know what you are like. You are missing out on a lot. And we're a cake store based in Lagos State. Yeah, Ogba precisely, and we are available to deliver to anywhere within Lagos. We take orders for birthday cakes, wedding cakes, engagement cake, custom cake, kids cake. We do buttercream, we do fondant, we do whipped cream. What just name the frosting. If it is something that we can do, we'll definitely deliver. So if you've not had a taste of our cakes there, you are missing out. Just send us a DM or leave a comment to get our WhatsApp number, and then so we can strike a deal. So back to our trimming. So I already trimmed from the top to bottom, but then to get a perfectly trimmed fondant cake, it is best you flip it over again to trim. It is best to flip it over again to trim, just to get a perfectly trimmed cake. So, but this time around, the trimming that I'll be doing will not be much because I've already trimmed, and you can see that, yeah, we are getting there. So, at this juncture, I'm not sure I trimmed anymore. I've forgotten. I can't remember if I still trimmed. I knew I didn't trim anymore. So this is our buttercream. But then I added some of the cake crumbs. The cake that was trimming, the trimmings, I added it to the buttercream just to make it adding up a bit. Yeah, instead of, I had it because I didn't use chocolate ganache for this particular cake. So I added crumbs to the cake, to the cream, not the cake, to the cream. Man, voiceover is not for the faint-hearted, actually, right? I give it up to all the people that are doing voiceover. People that are not like, that are so used to doing voiceover, they don't make mistakes. I give it to you all. Kudos. Back to our cake decoration. So this is the point where I conclude. Yeah, I concluded. Like I said, I added cake crumbs to the buttercream. So this is a mixture of cake crumbs and buttercream. So this is me concluding, and I just spread from bottom to the middle layer to the top, just to make sure that the frosting goes around. This thing again helps to add to the sweetness of the cake, because most people don't eat the fondant covering. People just remove it. So, but then you have this buttercream, you can eat it. So it's just to add sweetness, and also helps for your fondant to hold on to the body of the cake. Yeah, you can't just put fondant on a dry cake body. So this is a cream that will help your fondant to hold on to the body of the cake. So what I was just doing is just concreting and ensuring that the cream is sufficiently applied all around the body of the cake, and I'm just doing that. Nothing different. Same thing. The cake was a tall one, so I had to take my time, and the cake was very, very soft. Even from this, you see the way the thing is looking like it's shaking a bit, right? So I used my smoothener to smoothen out the cream to get my sharp edge, and then once I'm done with this one, I know that I'm done with once I'm done with this particular part, I tell myself that I'm done with like 30%. Yeah, 30% of the decor. Then next thing is the fondant. So I already prepared this fondant in the midnight before I went to bed, just to make sure that it has added up before I come and use it today. So this is the fondant, looking very white. Yeah. We also train people on how to bake cakes, pastry, and how to decorate. Look at the fondant is so hard. Look at the face I made at that point. I won't forget it. That's one thing about me. Once I'm done with the cake and I've delivered and my client, I will forget the pain totally. Maybe until I now go back to watch the video, there's one and I'll be like, oh, okay, this is the expression I did. So this point, I was just kneading the fondant so that they can come together as a soft dough, so that I can place it on the body of the cake. So just kneading. This is actually not very easy. It is not an easy one, but if you're a baker, I'm sure you would have been used by and a baker that does fondant cake, because not all baker does fondant cake. But if you're a baker that does fondant cake, that you do wedding cakes like back to back, I'm sure your arm would have been used to doing fondant. So the method I use to decorate this particular cake is what we call paneling method. And this is me singing, right? Yeah. So whenever I'm working, I love to listen to music. It helps me. It gives me the morale. It keeps my energy high. And before you know, I don't even care about the time. I just work, and I'm good to go. So, like I said, I use the paneling method because that cake is very tall for me to be using blanket method. So I already rolled out the paneling method for the side of the cake. What I'll be doing next will be the to roll out the one for the top of the cake. This is the one that will go round the body of the cake. So I need the one that will go on top of the cake. Yeah, so I'm going to be setting that aside, and I need to work very fast. Although this is raining season, not like Harmattan that fondant dries out easily, but nonetheless, I still need to work very fast before the fondant will be drying up, because working under air conditioned environment, you need to be very fast, especially if you're working on fondant, so your fondant will not be drying out and it will not be breaking by the time you want to place it on the cake. So this is the top. This is the fondant that I'll be putting on the top. So I realized here that the buttercream I added on the body has already dried up. So I just sprayed a little bit of water on the body of the cake, and yeah, that's what I did. Just sprayed a little bit of water on the body of the cake, and then this is the fondant for the top of the cake. Yeah, this is the fondant I added to the top of the cake, and I added a bit of corn flour as well to the top of the cake. Corn flour, and yeah, and then I use my smoother to smoothen it out. Next thing I will do now is to place a board on the cake. The reason I added corn flour is so that by the time I flip this over and I want to remove the board, it will be very easy for me, so that the fondant will not get stuck to that other small board I placed on the top of the cake. So I've added the fondant for the top. This is what is left now is the fondant for the side. That one I did earlier on. Do you remember? So I'll be wrapping this one around the body of the cake, and I'll be doing it very, very gently. There was a point in this video where I think the fondant almost fell off the body of the cake. I quickly grabbed it, and I knew it. I gently grabbed it, and then I wrapped it around, and I was good to go. Yeah. Sorry, trust me, this cake was a very tall one. Yeah, and just take a look at how white and neat that fondant is like. But when you have a good recipe, I'm not sure you'll be scared of whatever weather. I barely have issues of fondant sweating. I hear a lot of people maybe like, oh, my fondant is sweating. My fondant, not with my own recipe at all. Come rain, come sunshine. My fondant is perfect for all conditions. So if you want to get our fondant recipe, send us a DM, and we send a whatever. Just send us a DM if you want to get our fondant recipe. I got stuck at that point. I'm not perfect, am I? So this is the back of the cake, and I want to cut out the excess fondant from the back of the cake. Yeah, because when I wrapped it, another fondant overlapped on the first one. So this is me now trying to cut out the excess. So yeah, so that they will be exactly at the tip of each other to signify that is the back of the cake. Yeah, you see what I'm talking about. It still makes sense to you now. Yeah, so I'll be smoothing the body of the cake. So this is not like perfect. Instead of letting that excess fondant lay there better like this. And another thing I did rather in this video is I cut out the excess at the top, at the bottom of the cake rather. This one that are standing, I don't need them, and I cannot waste fondant, so I was very, very careful while trimming them off. Yeah. Then the next thing now, I want to make sure that the fondant I applied at the top of the cake and the one I applied at the side of the cake merges up together to give me one whole cake. So this is the method that I am using to get that particular thing that I need. Different people has their different method. I could have used the method that has to do with using FBB, but I can't find the FBB around my area. I've tried to look for it around paper shop, but I can't find it. So for now, this is the method I'm using. Maybe one day I'll take my time to check around my area for that paper, because if I had that paper, I wouldn't have any reason to flip this cake. It would be a lot more easier and safer than flipping cake, because flipping cake is actually very, very dangerous. But if you have that paper, it is a lot easier. All you just have to do when you wrap the fondant by the side, you just have to put the one on top and then use the paper to chip off the excess fondant. So this is my shoveling tool. I'm using it to cut out the remaining fondant at the tip of the cake, because when I use my smoother to merge the top and the bottom and the side together, there's still like small pieces. So I just use my shoveling tool to remove those pieces here. So I'm just smoothing out the cake at this junction. just, it's fondant. You need to smoothen it. The more you smoothen it, the more beautiful your final result would be. So I want to return the cake back to the actual board that I'll be delivering the cake in. So I have to be very, very careful here as well. Yeah. So remember I said to make the removal of the board on top easier. That's why I added corn flour, right? You guys watch the way it was quite difficult for me to remove this, but imagine I didn't have that corn flour. It would have been another thing entirely. I had to even gently remove it. So this is the happy, look at how happy I was. Like, okay, fine, came out nice. So I had to just continue smoothing and then cut out any excess fondant at the top, at the bottom, just to get a finished look. And this is me just cutting off every other excess fondant with my shoveling tool and my smoother. Just work my way around the body of the cake and to get the perfect finished look. Yeah, so just smoothing the cake, and don't mind my face at times. Once I'm working, there are so many things going through my head. So sometimes my facial expression can be, don't mind. Just focus on the cake I'm decorating, please. So I'm just using my brush now to remove the excess corn flour on the body of the cake. Yeah. This makes it a lot more easier when you want to steam the cake. If you use corn flour to dust it, it makes your work a lot more easier. So now this is the point where I want to decorate the board. So that cake is an 8 inches cake. So I'm going to be cutting out an 8 inches holo shape out of the fondant I wrote on the table. So this holo shape is what I'm going to be passing across the top of the cake to the board of the cake. Maybe what I said might not make sense to you, but you still see it in the video. So I'm just trying to cut out the excesses and then bring in the cake to do what I just explained. Yeah, so this is the cake. And before I do this, I need to water the board so that, this is what I'm doing. It's just water added to the board before I bring in the fondant, because without the water, the fondant would not stick. So this is what I'm talking about. I passed the fondant that I cut out a holo shape from the top of the cake, and then I just use my smoother to adjust it so that it can cover the board perfectly. Yeah, so that's what I realized that when I was using my finger, it was leaving some kind of imprint on the body of the fondant, and I didn't like it, so I just used my smoother. That's way neater and way more efficient than your finger. So this is just me using my smoother to cover the space between the cake and the board with the fondant. So, and then the next thing I'll do is to trim off this excess. Okay, this is me. I'm still smoothing it just to avoid a rough any or a job that is not neat. So I'm just smoothing it, and okay, even from the video you can see that the fondant is coming along, and then I'm using my scissors to cut off the excess fondant because it is necessary. It's a necessity, right? So I think the next thing I did here was an embosser. I'm not sure. There was an imprint on the body of the cake, and then it's embosser. Is it called quilting or embosser? One of the two. I forgot because it's been a while I did that particular technique. But then I had the tool at home, so it was easy for me to just work on. I think I spent a lot more longer on the board than I realized, because this video has been on this board since. Okay, straight to what I said I did. Bakers in the house, is this called quilting or embosser? If you should remind me, I've forgotten. Anyways, I used this to make an imprint on the body of the cake. Yeah. I could have used my hand, but I was scared. Some of us are expert than each other. Some people will use their free hand and they will just draw this thing. Viam, they are good to go. But me, I beg, I can't even risk it. I can't risk it at all. So I just used this to imprint on it, and then I used my modeling tools to draw out the line. At least using that embosser or quilting, let me just put that, using that diagonal to write makes it a lot more easier for me to now use my hand to trace it using my modeling tool. So that's what I was just doing. After I already used the diagonal tool to imprint on the body, and then I use my modeling tool to bring out the actual line that I want. And you can see that it is already popping out, and this is the end result. Another set of my modeling tools, I used it to make a hole inside here, because I'll be adding something to that hole. Whatever it is I'll be adding, wait for it. So I just used it to make a hole all around the body of the cake. Yeah. And then what did I do here? Okay, yeah, the boundary. It's a cake. It's a kid's cake, and like before I started this video, I showed you the finished video of the cake, right? So this is the point where I started adding the other details on the cake. Like, color is life. Just take a look at what that pink color did to this cake. Look at the way it brought out. I don't know. Am I the only one I see? It brought out the color. Like, I love colors a lot. I love cake. It's just that they're always very stressful. It's the reason why they're always more expensive, because you have to work with different colors. So I realized that after I placed the fondant at the base, that one part was slightly taller than the other. You can even see it from here. So I had to just use my craft knife to trim it so that they will be of the same size and same level. Yeah. I don't want, yeah, that was what I was just doing here. And then I cut it out, and then I got the exact size for the band of the cake. Yeah, that's that about that. And then I used my smoother to smoothen it again, so I can stay well on the body of the cake. And after this, I made a bowl. I didn't include the video of the bowl in this particular video. I didn't, because the bowl video itself was like around 5 minutes. I will upload that later. So, but this is there's like a cubic like fondant on top of the cake where the baby's name was added. So this is how I made it. For bakers in the house that might be curious, like, how did I make that cube? This is how I made it. It's just fondant, and then I use my smoother to make the fondant look like a rectangle shape, and then I cut it to the number of letters of the child's name. Yeah, it was a 5-letter name. So I just used my ruler to deduce how many shape it was going to give me, and I think it gave me 6. Yes, I think I got more than I needed, but I prefer to get excess than to get the exact, because I don't want to go through that thing again. I don't want to do that cube like thing again. So after I cut out this one, I used it to get the other one, and then that's how I did it to the end, like that. Yeah, and then I still use my smoother to adjust it to make it give me that realistic cube-like shape the way I want it. So, and then I use the alphabet mode to cut out the baby's name. I didn't include that in this video. It's actually a very simple thing. I use an alphabet mode to cut out the baby's name, added a bit of water, and then I attached it rather to this cube-like thing. So this is me just using my my smoother to get that perfect cube-like thing that I want. Yeah. So I enjoyed working on this thing. Actually, it was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed working on it, and I really liked the outcome. Yeah. This was just me doing them and then keeping them aside. Yeah. Oh, I did 7. I know I did excess, because counting now, this is 7, not 6. I did 7. So yeah, this is me showing you. Yeah. Yeah, so I already, like I said, I would upload a video of the bowl later. These are the other details on the cake. I already done the teddy a night before. Oh, but this teddy, I spent nothing less than 2 to 3 hours crafting that teddy. Trust me, it was not easy. And the baby was clocking to, or the baby clocked to rather. So this is, I already done all this one the night before, and these are what I'll be using to, like, decorate the features of the cake to bring it to life. I think at this point I already added the bead. Yes, you can see from this video I already added the bead that I wanted to add to the body of the cake. That part that I was punching holes, yeah, I added edible beads to them. That is why but I didn't record that part because I was already tired. I could not record it. But that one, what I did to the hole was I added a mixture of water and CMC to the tip of the hole before I added the bead. That way they can stay for long and they won't drop off while it's on transit. At this junction, I already added the baby's name as well. Like I said, it was a 5-letter name, and I needed the 5-letter cube. So I was just arranging everything. I think at this junction as well, I'd already steamed the cake. I'd already removed all the dust of the icing sugar dust on the body and every other dust on the body, and voila, this is the almost end product of the cake. Yeah, so I added more balls to give it more life. I colored the balls pink, white, red, gold. Like, what do you think? This is the end product of the video. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to our page, like and share to your loved ones, and bye.